Dear students, now we are starting off with Unit 4, that is drugs acting on central nervous system. The topic is subdivided into sedatives, hypnotics and antipsychotics or tranquilizers. The last one is anticonvulsants. Let us see the classification of sedatives and hypnotics. This has two major chemical classes. One is benzodiazepines and the other one is barbiturates. If you see the examples for benzodiazepines, chlordiazepoxide, diazepam, oxazepam, clorazepate, lorazepam, alprazolam and zolpidem. And you need to learn the synthesis of diazepam. If you come to barbiturates, these are classified according to their duration of action. The long duration of action having barbiturates are barbital, phenobarbital and mephobarbital. And there are two examples for intermediate duration of action. Those are amobarbital, betabarbital. There are other two examples for short duration of action, barbiturates, pentobarbital and secobarbital. Although it is not mentioned in your syllabus, you should remember that there is an ultra short acting barbiturate, that is thiopental. So, how to remember their structures? First, you need to know the general structure of benzodiazepines and barbiturates, and the examples will differ only in the substituents at different positions of the main ring. Let us see how the benzodiazepine will look like. Benzo means there is a benzene which is fused with a diazepine ring. What is diaza? Diaza. Aza comes when we have nitrogen molecules inside the ring. Okay. It is a seven-membered ring. Seven-membered ring. Here another nitrogen. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-membered ring with two nitrogens. So, diazepine. So, this ring is fused with a benzene ring. So, benzodiazepines. Let us number it. There is a carbonyl functional group at second position. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there is a double bond at 4, 5 position. Fine. So, if you remember this basic structure of benzodiazepine, rest you can compare the differences and similarities of the substituents among the drugs. If we see the structure-activity relationships, please refer to your notes that I have provided you earlier. Okay. The ring is divided into parts, and we will see in detail what is the structure-activity relationship. Let us consider benzene ring as A ring. In A ring, there should be an electronegative substituent at position 7. This is the position 7. So, there should be an electronegative substituent. Among the examples, we have chlorine as the electronegative atom attached at 7th position. If you check the structure of diazepam, chlordiazepoxide, oxazepam, clorazepate, lorazepam and alprazolam, you have chlorine as electronegative atom attached as a substituent at 7th position. Okay. And that is required for the activity. So, an electronegative atom is required for the activity. More the electronegativity, more will be the activity. Okay. And 6th, 8th and 9th position should be left vacant. Otherwise, the drug will have no activity. Okay. Then, let us have ring B, the diazepine ring. Ring B. N1, this is the N1, nitrogen. If an alkyl or haloalkyl or alkenyl or aminoalkyl group is attached to the nitrogen in first position, it will increase the activity. And the carbonyl group at second position is optimum for activity. This carbonyl group. Then alkyl substitution at position 3. This one, position 3, decreases the activity. But the presence or absence of hydroxyl group determines pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics means the drug's absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. That is determined by the substituents attached at third position. Fine. Then saturation at 4, 5 double bond. This double bond that will decrease the activity. If the double bond is saturated, that means double bond is replaced with a single bond, that will decrease the activity. And a phenyl ring at position 5 promotes the activity. This is the fifth position, and if a phenyl ring is attached to this position, will promote the activity of the drug. And among all the examples we have, every chemical structure of these examples will have this phenyl ring attached to fifth position. Zolpidem's structure is somewhat different from other structures. Okay. Right. Then triazolobenzodiazepine, that is alprazolam, found to be more potent. They do not require any substitution at position 7. So alprazolam does not require the substitution at position 7. Okay. Now we have attached phenyl ring at fifth position. Let us consider this as ring C. Okay. Ortho or diortho substituent by electron attracting group increases the activity. Okay. This ring ortho. Ortho means ortho, meta, para position. Ortho. Diortho means this. If the substituent electron attracting groups are attached to ortho or diortho, that will increase the activity. Okay. Any substitution at fourth position decreases the activity dramatically. What is the fourth position here? Let us consider this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is para position. If substituted, that will decreases the activity. Okay. And the whole C ring can be any of the heteroaromatic ring, or it can be also a cycloalkenyl ring. Let us see the structure activity relationships once. Please refer to the notes that I have given. Here I have clearly made your notes where you can easily remember the structure activity relationships by dividing the rings into A, B, C, and what substituents should be, what are the properties of ring A, so that the activity will be enhanced or decreased, and the same is with the ring B and C. Please go through the notes and remember in the way I have explained. Okay. Now let us see the structures. The first one is diazepam. As earlier I told, diazepam is a benzodiazepine, right? So you have a benzene ring, 7th position attached to electronegative atom, and the second position of diazepine ring is having an alkyl substituent. Here, third position, there is no hydroxyl group or any alkyl substituent. Okay, this nitrogen is attached to an oxide. And fifth position is having a phenyl ring. So this is the structure of diazepam. So how it is synthesized? It is synthesized from chlordiazepoxide. Sorry, this is the structure of diazepam. This is the structure of chlordiazepoxide, and this is the structure of diazepam. Diazepam is synthesized from chlordiazepoxide. How? By simple acid hydrolysis. Okay. In first step, there is a loss of methyl group, and NH is gradually removed with the help of nickel. And if you observe the similarities in the structure of diazepam and chlordiazepoxide, there is only a lack of NHCH3 in diazepam, where it is present in chlordiazepoxide, and this N oxide is removed. Okay, right? This is how the synthesis of diazepam takes place. Fine. Now let us see the structures of benzodiazepines, the examples. So, you know the structure of diazepam and chlordiazepoxide till now. Third one is oxazepam. What is the difference? Difference is that it has hydroxyl group attached at third position, and if you see the structure activity relationship, third position, if it is attached with hydroxyl group, the molecule will be more polar, so the half-life will be less. It will act as a mild sedative in the management of anxiety, tension, hesitation, irritability, etc. Okay. The fourth one is clorazepate. Clorazepate is having a carboxylic acid attached at third position, so it is also more polar when compared with the unsubstituted at third position compounds. Okay. It is also used for the treatment of anxiety disorders. Okay. Then third one is lorazepam. Lorazepam is having hydroxyl group as well as chlorine attached to the phenyl ring at second position of the phenyl ring. Then alprazolam is having tricyclic ring fused to the diazepam ring, where N through the N1. Okay, N1. This is the structure of alprazolam, and you have to remember the differences, and you need to practice. And zolpidem structure is altogether somewhat different from the earlier diazepams. Zolpidem is having imidazopyridine ring. Where is imidazole? Imidazole is this one, right? And this is the pyrimidine. So this ring is imidazopyridine ring. So you should remember that zolpidem structure is somewhat different from the earlier examples of benzodiazepines, because it is having imidazopyridine rings, and it is further attached with the phenyl ring that is substituted with the methyl group. Okay, fine. So let us now see how these drugs are used, the indications for which they are used. Usually sedative hypnotics are used for the treatment of insomnia. What is insomnia? Insomnia is a sleeping disorder, improper sleep. A person is unable to sleep properly. In such conditions, we use sedative hypnotics to induce sleep. Okay. Sedatives are somewhat mild. They will induce calmness or drowsiness, but hypnotic will induce sleep. Okay. Now let us see the mechanism of action, how they will act. This mechanism of action is same for the barbiturates as well as benzodiazepines. Inside the central nervous system, the neurons have a receptor called as GABA. And the receptor looks like this, and it will have subunits: alpha subunit, beta subunit, again repeated alpha subunit and beta subunit. There is also a gamma subunit. The receptor subunits: alpha, beta, gamma. Okay. What is GABA? Gamma aminobutyric acid. It is a chief inhibitory neurotransmitter, and it is one of the neurotransmitters in the central nervous system, and this GABA is inhibitory in nature. This is the amino acid as well as the receptor is also named after the neurotransmitter as GABA receptor. Okay, what usually happens? This is the membrane of the neuron and receptor. Okay, this is external environment of the neuron, this is the internal environment of the neuron. Okay, what usually happens when GABA comes and attaches to the receptor, and GABA comes and gets attached to the receptor, it will ensure the influx of chloride ions into the neuronal cell. It will increase the influx of chloride ions into the neuron, inside the neuron. When the chloride is excess in concentration inside the neuron, that will decreases the activity of neuron, so that the person will be calmed down. Okay, and so what this is the normal process happens inside the central nervous system neurons. When we use benzodiazepine or barbiturate, they will bind here along with GABA. They will potentiate the action of GABA. Potentiation of action of GABA means they will support the action of GABA in making chloride more to influx. That means they will help the GABA, but they don't have direct effect. The drugs which we are using doesn't create the effect directly, and this is the binding site for barbiturates. This is the binding site for the benzodiazepines. Okay, clear. Now let us see the second class of drugs. Those are barbiturates. Among them, you need to remember the structure of barbiturates. In class I have told you that the structure of barbiturates is very simple, and if you remember the structure of barbiturates, you can remember other structures easily. It is only the difference is only in the substituents placed at different positions. Okay, fine. Now let us see the general structure of a barbiturate. Barbiturate, first draw the structure of urea. Two NH2s connected with a carbon atom. This is urea. But we are writing a cyclic structure, so I have removed one hydrogen. So, and put C double bond O here, and in the same manner here C double bond O, and this is the basic structure of barbituric acid or barbiturate. And if we number it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at first and third position there are nitrogens, and at fourth and sixth position there are C double bond O. Okay, then fifth positions are attached to alkyl substituents usually. Okay, let us designate R1, R2 as alkyl side chains. Okay, sometimes the second position will be also modified. Okay, so this structure is the barbituric acid structure, and the first example we have is barbital sodium. For that you need to know the synthesis also. Okay, so simply by adding urea and malonic ester, by removing this one and combining both the structures, you will get barbitone. To this, if you add sodium hydroxide, the sodium salt of barbitone will come, and that is called the salt of barbitoric acid or barbital. Okay. So, what do you observe in the structure of barbitone? You have at fifth position two alkyl side chains. Ethyl, diethyl, and the remaining things are as there in the basic structure of barbituric acid. Okay. Next, see the structure of phenobarbital or phenobarbital. So, what is the difference here? The one of the substituent at fifth position is a phenyl ring, so it is a phenobarbital. Okay, phenobarbital. You can remember phenobarbital. You should remember that one of the substituent at fifth position is phenyl group. Then comes mephobarbital, and that means it has methyl group attached to the nitrogen at third position, and it is an improvement of phenobarbital. Phenobarbital with methyl group attached with at N3, nitrogen 3 is mephobarbital. Then if you see amobarbital, okay, there is a side chain, fifth position, one of the side chain is amyl group, this CH2CH2CH, that is further attached with two methyl groups is called amyl group. So that is the reason amobarbital. And in the same way, butabarbital will have one of the side chain as butane. Okay, butane is the one of the side chain at fifth position. Fine. You have pentobarbital where pentane as the side chain, and you have secobarbital. You have this one as both substituents at fifth position are different from the earlier one. Now we have miscellaneous agents that are acting as sedatives and hypnotics. Amides and imides, you have glutathione. Okay, this is the structure of glutathione. If you remember heterocyclic chemistry, this ring is piperidine ring. What is piperidine? Pyridine, if it is saturated, that means lacking double bonds, is piperidine. Okay, it is having C double bond at 2,6 position and one phenyl group and one ethyl group attached at third position. Okay. Next we have alcohol and their carbamate derivatives. If you observe meprobamate, Me for methyl, PRO, propyl, amyl group, amide, okay, methyl group, propyl group, okay. These all are attached to a central carbon atom. This is how you need to remember the structure of meprobamate. And there is the next one, eth-chlorvinyl. Ethyl, chlorine atoms are there, and a vinyl group is there. And this drug can be also called as placidyl. Okay, if you see, this is the ethyl group, this is the chlorine group, it is attached to the vinyl compound. Okay, this is how you need to remember the structure of eth-chlorvinyl. Then comes trichlorphos sodium and peraldehyde, categorized as aldehydes and their derivatives. Okay, if you see trichlorphos, 1, 2, 3, 3 chlorines, chloro. FOS, phosphate group, phos indicates there is a phosphate group, sodium. Okay, and see, this is the structure of trichlorphos sodium, which is very easy. And there is a peraldehyde, it is like this: CH3, CH3, CH3. That means three aldehydes converted into a ring form to get the structure of paraldehyde. Okay, these are the various structures under the benzodiazepines. We already seen. We have already seen. So let us briefly discuss the structure-activity relationship of barbiturates. As earlier told, I have told the simple general structure of barbituric acid is this, right? This is urea part and malonic ester. We have synthesized it with the help of malonic ester. By combining both of them, we will get barbituric acid, and there are two alkyl side chains attached at fifth position. Okay, this is the general structure of barbituric acid. Okay. See, normal barbituric acid doesn't have any hypnotic activity. Okay. When the fifth positions are substituted, then only it will show some hypnotic activity. So, okay, let us see. Position at C5. Right. Both hydrogens at fifth position should be replaced. The sum of the carbons of both substances should be between 6 and 10 for optimal hypnotic activity. The sum is also indexed for duration of action. So, the duration of action or hypnotic activity of the drug, barbituric acid drug, depends on the substituent, alkyl substituent at the fifth position, and the total number of the carbons combinedly of the two substituents will determine the activity. Okay, and ideally that the number of carbons in both side chains cumulatively should be between 6 and 10. And monosubstitution at fifth carbon decreases the activity. That means both the hydrogens at fifth position should be substituted. Not a single hydrogen should be left without substitution, as indicated in the first point itself. Okay. Then, due to increased acidity through tautomerism caused by one free proton, if one free proton is left, it will cause tautomerism that will diminish the activity due to increased acidity. Okay. Proper acidity ratio of ionized versus unionized form is important to cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay. If a drug at all needs to cross the blood-brain barrier, it should have more lipophilic in nature. That means unionized form. Okay. Ionized form, it makes the drug more polar. So it will help excretion of the drug. Okay. As the sum of alkyl group increases, the lipid solubility of the compound also increases, leading to increased onset of action and decreased duration of action. As earlier I pointed out, alkyl chains will promote the lipophilicity of the drug. If the drug is more lipophilic, it will cross the blood-brain barrier easily, so the onset of action will be fast. That is what the point indicates. The next point is, greater the branching, more potent is the drug due to high lipid solubility. If branching of the alkyl side chain is more, it will make the drug more polar. Okay. Example, pentobarbital. You have methyl group side attached in sideways, that means branching at the fifth position, and that is making amobarbital more potent. Okay. Pentobarbital more potent than amobarbital. Okay. Then, branched cyclic or unsaturated chain reduces the duration of action due to its metabolic conversion to more polar inactive metabolites. Unsaturated chain, that means double bonds or triple bonds. What they will do? They will decrease the duration of action because they are metabolically converted into more polar inactive metabolites. Polar compounds will be easily excreted out. Okay, so they are not available for more time to show their action. Okay. Stereoisomers have same potencies. Okay. RRS, ERZ, whatever, the stereoisomer of the same drug don't have any differences in the potency of the drug. Okay. Alicyclic or aromatic substituted analogues are more potent than aliphatic substituents. Okay. Aromatic compounds are more potent than aliphatic. Okay. The presence of halogen in the 5-alkyl group increases the potency. Okay. The polar substituents examples, hydroxylamine, carboxylic acid, okay, carbonyl, okay, amide. In the aromatic group at C5 decreases the lipid